Hi.
good.
Hello, how have you been?
Yeah, I've been pretty good.
All right, cool. Like, what was this week like for you?
The week was kind of slow for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I had some tasks I needed to finish
Yeah.
up, and I was able to complete most of them earlier on. So I was kind of like dilly-dallying throughout the weekend
Mm-hmm.
to just fill
Okay.
up the time.
That's cool. Do you feel like sometimes our productivity like lowers or like during when we're tired or like we're lazy, like our boundaries, does it go down? Does it go up? Is that the same for you?
It goes down actually because
Mm-hmm.
most times it's a mental something, right?
Yeah.
So when you're not in the right place mentally, your productivity definitely goes down, and
Definitely.
so
But
it
we're going to
affects
talk
productivity.
Definitely, we're going to talk more about productivity and our mental health. But before
Mm,
that, I have three questions that I'm going to ask you. So let's get started with the first question, right? If
okay.
you could instantly learn any skill or talent, what would it be and why?
Oh, so if I could instantly learn a skill, it would be
Hmm.
sales, marketing, sales. Yeah.
Why?
So why is because there is nothing that we there's nothing that you want to do now that will not involve sales.
Mm,
I think so. If you're setting up a company, I have a digital agency, right? Uh, web web design digital agency. So if I'm not able to market my agency to people, if I'm not able, so it's not I'm not just telling them that I can build websites, I can build an app for you. It's to be able to convince them that I'm the best person to build an app for you. So
yeah.
that's something I know I'm lacking,
Hmm.
and I'm actively looking to improve on that. Sales is very much better. So even someone else that's just looking for a job,
Yeah.
right? It involves being able to market yourself to the
Sell
recruiter.
yourself. Yeah,
Yeah, sell
definitely.
yourself to the recruiter. So in any, even your normal business, brick and
Hmm.
mortar business, it still involves sales.
Yeah.
Even relationship, let's not say sales, but
It's still there because
it's
you're
it's
selling
in the
yourself, you're practically selling yourself to build a relationship with that
yeah.
person or having a long term or short term connection with that
Mhm.
person. So, yeah, where in sales do you like, would you like to improve on? Is it like business to business, business to customers, or like direct sales? So, basically, like just outside with like a stand or like a banner where you just basically speak to people on the road and be like, have you heard about my company and etc. But like where in sales would you like to tap into?
So I would say business to customers
Mm-hmm.
and the direct sales, right? So business to commerce customers to be able to like reach out to prospective customers and even current customers and engage with them, let them know what is available and all that. Then the normal conversational sales, being able to sell myself as as a person, as a founder, as a producer, whatever. So being able
Mm-hmm.
to sell myself, even in my relationship with people, not romantic relationship, just normal interpersonal relationship. So that also. So I think I want to improve on that
Yeah.
because one thing I find is that salespeople they they have a level of confidence that normal people don't have.
Mm.
Being able to walk up to anybody, even no matter how angry looking a person is,
Yeah.
and to find a way to get into the shell of that person and convince the person, even
Mm-hmm.
if the person will not eventually buy, but they will leave the person better than they met the person.
Yeah. That
So I think
actually
that's
like
something I want.
that actually sparked the memory in me. So like my first job was sales and I was doing like direct sales. Like I was selling energy supplies basically to like people on the streets, like just walking on the streets. And my target was basically like 30 to like 50 people a day, because I have to like convert it to like commission on there. So obviously I was getting paid per hour, but if I speak to
Mm,
30 people, unless like maybe five people actually signed up to like the energy supply, maybe like NEPA for instance, right?
mhm.
And then like I would get a commission, maybe like a 50% commission from NEPA, which would like add to what's it called, um to my current
Your base
wages.
salary.
Yeah. So
Okay.
like that, when you said like walking up to people, like no matter how angry they are, like just be like, "Hi, excuse me, have you heard of have you heard of NEPA, or have you heard of Asia Podcast, or have you used our agency before?" Like people can be like, literally they will see you, but like you made like an eye connection like 5 meters away, and they will see you,
Mm,
and like some people can like cross to the other side, and then some people can like literally walk towards you and then look up and be like they did not see you. And it's still up to you as a salesperson to like break that barrier and just like build a quick conversation with them. It's easy to some people, it looks easy, but like it comes with a lot of confidence and energy and
yeah.
being able to like be on the job basically. So like I'm really intrigued when you said sales, because I've spoken to so many people, maybe like in our community for example, but like no one has
Yeah.
ever like brought up the topic of like sales. So like I'm very like very interested, like, oh, like we have someone that is like interested in sales, like that is maybe beautiful. What a way to use adjective for sales. Lol. So my second question is, what is the most unusual or unique food you have ever tried, and how did you feel about it?
Mm, I'm not sure I have tried an unusual foods.
Mm,
I'm not sure. But okay, I recently tasted or ate shrimp. I haven't taken it for I haven't taken it before. Just
okay.
recently, less than a few months back, I tried it for the first time, and I
Mhm.
loved it. I it was surprising because I haven't really thought about even going to get it.
Yeah.
I haven't really heard people talk about it that, oh, this is, when people talk about jollof rice, afang, or all this
Mm,
soup, they talk about how good it is and everything. I've never really had someone talk about shrimp before.
yeah.
I've never really, but just that day, I happened to just order it and just tasted it, and I was like, why have I
Why?
been eating
Why?
this ever since?
Why?
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 With a nice rice, and it was
Mm.
it was
Delicious.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, so you try shrooms. Wow, that's very, I guess to some people it can be like unusual food for them, but
Yes,
yeah, shrooms. Do you know you have? What am I trying to say? Do you eat fried rice? Do you not add
I
shrimp
do.
to fried rice?
So, like I said, I
Hmm.
have never thought
Never,
of never like,
never.
even back home we
Mm-hmm.
don't we
You
don't
don't.
eat. It's not common in my side, right?
Crazy.
So even growing up, even school, I've not really come across that, just from afar,
Mm-hmm.
and it has never been that interesting or intriguing enough for me to want to try it.
Okay.
So it was a surprise, and interesting surprise for me,
Ah.
and I enjoyed it.
Okay, so the third question is, if you could switch lives with any fictional character for a day, who would it be and why?
Fictional character.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I would. Okay, if I had no choice but to choose one,
Mm-hmm.
off the top of my head, I would say the Flash,
Okay.
because of
Why?
speed, being able to like move at the speed of light.
Mm-hmm.
You being here and you can be in across the side of the world in an instant.
Yeah.
But thinking about it again, I would say the jumper. I don't know if you've watched the movie Jumper.
Jump. No. I think
Okay,
this is
so
the
this guy
first.
he teleports,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So he is able to move from one place at a time to another just with his thoughts.
Oh.
Yeah,
With just his
it's
thoughts alone.
just his thoughts alone. He just
Oh.
moves and it's
Oh.
I like that.
Oh. Where
So,
did
so
you watch
fr-
that on?
it's actually streamed it from one of this
Mm.
free streaming sites, not from Netflix.
Definitely not. Definitely not. Oh
Not from
wow.
Netflix.
Oh
But title is the
no.
Jumper, so
Jumper.
it's an
Okay. I
interesting
would.
movie actually.
I was going to say I would definitely look for it, but I don't want to go on any legal websites basically just to go watch. But like speaking
Mm.
about like mindset and able to like transport from one place to another, I would always say like maybe that's the same with like boundaries, like setting a
Mhm.
pace, right? When you hear about the word boundary, like what does it mean to you? Like what is the concept of boundaries to you?
Mm, I would say basically it means self-respect.
Mm,
Yeah. So your boundary, it's a limit or it's what you put around you is your, let's say your minimum point of contact with others,
yeah.
right? So let's say in an organization, right, you don't want certain persons to relate with you up to a certain extent. You set a boundary. You don't want people to disrespect you up to a certain extent. You set a boundary.
Mm,
You want to be able to achieve a task. You can also set boundaries for your own self, right? So all this, I will link them all back to self-respect. So if you respect yourself, you would set boundaries definitely.
mm,
Because if boundaries are not set, people will definitely disrespect you, and it won't be their fault to be
true.
yours because you
Yeah.
refuse to set boundaries.
Do you think people personally, even before boundaries, do you think people personally have self respect for themselves?
Not everyone.
Not everyone.
S- So something they do, right? But they end up tolerating everything that they get. They end up accepting everything that they get. When it comes to an argument, you may hear them shouting louder or have separate threats and all that. I don't tolerate shit and all that. But comes a workplace or even amongst friends or even the family, they
Yeah.
take anything. They don't react. Even if you're not supposed to react violently every time, right? There are certain times you have to let the next person know that, okay, please, this is where you should cut off. I would appreciate if you don't overstep this line. I would appreciate if you don't do things up to this extent.
Mm.
This is just my space. I will also want you to respect that. And so not everybody do, even though
Yeah.
they think
They
they do.
do. Yeah. Because to me, self respect is worthy of the respect. So, like, for me, it's like knowing right and wrong. And most people always use like right or wrong to judge respect and how
Mm,
respect should be given. But I feel like personally, if you know what you like as an individual and you're able to respect yourself as an individual, that these are the things you like and these are the things you don't like, you're able to
mhm.
make it clear to other people, maybe at a workplace or like even your friends, for example. And because of
Yeah.
that self respect, you're able to set boundaries in place where people can cross and people cannot cross. And in a sense, it's like judging. I'm not going to
Mhm.
say it's judging, but like in a sense, it is because you know what you stand for. So like when other people don't know what you stand for, it's like, oh, you lose touch of your respect and you lose touch of your boundaries, right? Have you ever
You're
been
right.
in a place where you felt like you lost self-respect for yourself, and did they make it hard for people to respect you as well in a workplace?
Yeah, I've been in some situations like that, right? But I always try to, as fast as possible, as soon as I notice that, oh, this is getting too much, I
Yeah.
always try to correct that. I always try to correct that because, like I said earlier, it's your own fault, the individual, for not setting those boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
Others are, they are acting based on how you allow them, I would say. So if you keep on allowing them to treat you the way you don't like, it's not, even though they are wrong for doing that, but you are more at fault for allowing it.
Oh.
Like there's an instance um where when I was just coming up, one of work I was doing then, I it was a social media management. So it was on site. I go with my personal laptop to the office,
Okay.
right? So because it was a small startup, it was a small business. So I went to my own personal laptop. I used my own personal laptop to do things and everything. Well, I found out that they were now using my own personal laptop to do things that were not related to even
What?
what I came there for.
Ooh.
And I already made mention that this is my personal laptop, right?
Yeah.
I'm using it because okay, you don't have the capacity yet to provide a laptop for me to use. I'm offering to use mine. So I should not be seeing other colleagues coming to my laptop to be watching movie, to be playing games. And it was it was crazy. So I had to okay, first off, I let it slide when it initially started because
Yeah.
okay, they're colleagues and so I had to not be stuck up and being rude or that. But
Mm-hmm.
it became too much. I had to enforce that and let them know that no, this has to stop. This is my personal laptop. I have confidential details in here.
Yeah.
And if anything happens to this, I will bear the brunt of repairing and replacing. So no. And it ended up even they had to get me a mobile phone because I was using my mobile phone and the laptop. So they could not get a laptop. They had to also get a mobile phone to at least reduce my workload on the laptop. And
Were you able
that
to
was
use?
after
Yeah.
I set a boundary and everything.
Oh, okay. Were you able to use like the mobile phone for your work, basically, for what you were doing
Yeah,
for them?
it assisted. It was
Do you
helpful.
think when it comes to taking personal stuff to like work, I'm not even going to start with my laptop. I'm going to put the laptop to the side. But let's say maybe food, for instance, right? Let's say I bring jollof rice to work. Do you think it's in your place for you to see that I'm having my lunch and go and get like a fork or a spoon and basically take out of my food?
So that that has happened. I believe that is common in most workplace,
Yeah.
right? And it depends. It depends on your relationship with the person eating. I would
Mm-hmm.
say there are some people that I would not mind,
Yeah.
depending on how they do it. I would not mind them coming. Hey Gideon, what's up? Let me join you and eat.
Hmm.
Or this your food is looking nice. Oh." You know that ways they come in. There are things they say. So I would say it depends on the individual.
Yeah.
It depends on the individual. Why there are some let's say crazy people that they don't just care. Anybody they just see, they
Mm-hmm.
just
Eat.
move around with their fork or their spoon and
Yeah.
want to dive in. That's that's out of place.
Yeah, I set my own boundaries. Like if I'm taking my food, let's say maybe yesterday I was craving something, maybe like spaghetti with like asu meat or something, and then I get home today and I make that, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to have this for lunch, right? And then I get to work. I'm a bit selfish when it comes to like my favorite food and my picky food. So whenever anyone tells me, oh, like my food smells nice, I just be like, yeah, sure, it smells nice. And then they'll be like, oh, what is that? And I would just be like, oh, it's this, it's that, it's really, really spicy. And the moment I tell people it's really, really spicy, it kind of put them off. That is my own way of setting boundaries when it comes to my food. Now going to your old colleagues using your laptop, right? Do you think you should have set the boundaries clearer to the employer before even them getting you a new phone? Maybe that would have reduced the fact that you should not be bringing your laptop to work, and them, you having to tolerate the fact that people are watching movies on your phone. They could have damaged on your laptop, they could have damaged your laptop, etc. How do you think that plays a role in companies culture and the type of people employers employ to their company?
Yeah, so I believe I should have said that clear right from the
Yeah.
beginning. But I would say then I was just coming up
Mm-hmm.
and it was a small business. I was trying to be like say, reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say, okay, this is a small business, they employed me. And I needed the job then, right? They what they just employed me, they employed me as a social media manager, right?
Yeah.
And there was no clear description of what assets that will be given to me or
Mm.
anything. They just say, okay, this is your job, this is what you're supposed to do. There was no mention of what the tools you're supposed to use for
Yeah.
it. So I just assumed that okay, I'll be using mine, I should just be using mine
Mm-hmm.
for the meantime, right? So it was after the incidents of them using the laptop like for too long, using it for number of days for things that were not related to my work. Even if it was related, as long as I was not the one on it, that was
Mm.
already out of place.
Yeah.
So when it got too much, that's why I had to set that boundary. And I find that in because I've had some people made mention of the same thing, complain of the same issues in bigger organizations actually, where the individuals, the employees bring their own personal effects to work to do the work that the company should have provided
Yeah.
devices for. And it's really bad actually.
Mm.
It's really bad. It's not expected. So is I think the first is to uh, know what you want to do. What's your job description, right? Are you being employed as a data analyst? Are you going? Is it a small company that you're going in with your own devices? Even if you're going with your own devices, is there any compensation for that? Is it a big organization that have their own IT sector with all device enrolled with the enterprise management and all that? So
Yeah.
I think subsequently, all the companies I work with, they had their own set of
Devices.
devices enrolled with enterprise management and all that. So
Mm.
I believe most big companies have that in place now. So
Yeah. What would you say? Like, what would be your advice for anyone that ever, anyone that is being put in that same similar position as you when you're just starting your career? Obviously things have changed like now in terms of employers providing what employees need to be able to be productive at work and working, whether hybrid or remote work or on-site work. But for a beginner that was ever in the same position or similar position to you when they just starting their career without all these tools and support, what would you tell them to do? What are the steps they would do, and like how would you, what advice would you give them for them to define their boundaries to their employers, even as a beginner or as an intern?
Okay. So, considering the Nigerian workplace and how things are here, I would say once you once you've gotten the job right,
Yeah.
you resume. So, if possible, don't resume first day with your device other than your mobile phone.
Mm.
Don't resume first day with your device other than your mobile phone. Then, if the workplace is that bad where they mention that there's nothing, I thought you had a laptop or something like that, you need the job as a beginner, maybe you need that job desperately. Okay, next they go with your laptop. But I would advise you still start complaining from that day one. Either be complaining that your device is not up to par to what you want to do,
Mm.
or find an excuse to be complaining to the employee that you need them to provide the device from day one.
Yeah.
So that it will be there in the mind. So that a day might just come in, you can just leave your device at home, tell them that your laptop packed up and is no longer coming. And that's
It
because
happens.
it, yeah, because if you continue bringing your device to the workplace to use to do what they are supposed to provide the device for,
Yeah.
they will see it as though you don't have any problem with using your own device. Your device is sufficient for the work. Why should they? From a business mindset, if I'm there, okay, if I'm not, I will not be that kind of employee. But what they'll be looking at is that why should we bring out money to purchase a new laptop or mobile phone when this individual can do the work fine with their own?
Mm.
Why should they? So keep on complaining. Although some of them would decide, okay, they'll be providing, let's say, like maintenance fee or
Okay.
just compensation, and that is okay. That's manageable, at least they show
Yeah.
concern. But other than that, just keep on complaining every
Just
day.
keep on complaining.
Just keep on complaining.
Just keep
Why?
on complaining.
Why looking for a better job?
So like, be complaining from the get go, like on the
Yeah,
first day you resume, and then behind the scenes start looking for a better job that provides you that support. But like
yeah.
that would initially work for employers and employee working on sites. What do you think about employers and employees working virtually, or maybe a developer that is working for a company in the UK or Canada, but they have to use their own system? Does that same boundary applies to them?
So for those, how that works from what I've seen is that the employer they provides there's a separate allowance for your workspace setup.
Okay.
So I think then it's now left to the individual whether they want to continue use their own personal system
Mm-hmm.
or they will use the allowance, the workplace setup allowance to purchase a new uh, system for just work. In the cases of those that don't provide those workspace allowance, I believe they mentioned it from the get-go that during the interview process, that is the application process of, they will let you know that you're supposed to have a device of less of these certain specs. You're supposed to have internet connectivity of this certain bandwidth. And it's not left for you. You know that, okay, this is what you are going into. I don't think there is that applies in this case. You just have to go with it. Then get if you feel it's not you don't want to keep on using your personal system, I think you should just get a new one, a
Mm.
separate one for your first salary or something.
Yeah, definitely. So obviously boundaries is very important when you're just starting a career or when you're just starting going to work. Boundaries is also important for you to keep to yourself when you're having your lunch at the office space or office place. Boundaries is important because you also need self-respect, which it can be hard for people to actually know what self-respect is for them, and also the training that they have to go personally and individually to align themselves with self-respect and being able to speak up as well. So there's a lot of things when it comes to boundaries, right? Has
Yeah.
growing up, obviously in Nigeria, growing up, we don't really have boundaries because our parents is like, we're young, like I know better than you, I know
Yeah.
what a child can't see, like on top of the rock, an elder can see it. So like, do you think that has played a role in when it comes to you having to build your self-respect quickly and also determine what boundary is to you on your personal level moving to your professional level?
Yes, it has a lot. It has impacted how people express themselves, how they are able to set boundaries. So those that grew up from very strict home,
Mm,
we can see we have, I believe, even when you look in your office, there are people that if they find it hard to speak up, even things that are within their rights,
mm,
they find it hard to speak up. They will prefer telling their colleague to voice out. Their colleagues they know is more outspoken to voice out. And I would say it traces back to how they were raised. Because when growing up, you are not allowed to say what you want. You're not allowed to have an opinion. You are
mm.
not allowed to even think. Sef.
Yeah.
Everything, everything has to be what you are told. So f- there are some families that the parents were, let's say, were liberal enough to not be that authoritative.
Mm-hmm.
They allow the kids to explore, to try new things. They welcome when the kids ask question, they give answer. They welcome, let's say, inquisitive kids that ask question and all that. So it helps. You will see them when they go to the workplace, when they start building a career, when they go to the workplace, they will be the ones that are more outspoken,
Mm.
and they tend to get what they want
True.
because they know what they want.
Yeah.
They say what they want, and they stand by what they want,
Mm.
and they will definitely get it. The other individual that it's, let's say, reserved or shy or quiet, knows what it wants, but is not confident enough to say it. Even when others that are more outspoken try to speak out because of, let's say, trauma, or because of how uh, damaged, I don't want to use the word damage,
Mm.
how impacted they are from their home growing. They even want to um, try to convince the or more outspoken person to pipe down a little
Yeah.
because they are afraid that, oh, what this guy is doing
Consequences.
is,
Yeah.
yeah, what this guy is doing wrong, there will be consequence and all that.
Mm.
So it's very bad. That's why I always encourage people to try to break out of their shell, to
Yeah.
try to think and read books. I love reading books.
You do?
That's what helped me. Yeah, I do. It's what helped me growing up because I
Mm.
always read and I was able to think out and liberate myself.
Yeah. I guess like it's very important because when we are at that age where I'm going to link it back to us being a Gen Z as well, like how outspoken. But then are we really outspoken? But let's keep that to the side. So like us going from being young to having to depend on ourselves and navigating life ourselves. So I always feel like other people that come from the narrative of the parents always welcoming them to ask questions, they probably get it easier than
Yeah.
other people that are maybe like shy or reserved. The reason why is it plays an effect to like the academic and the career
Mhm.
options. So like when the parents don't welcome that surrounding for the kids or us growing up, it's like, oh, like we have to like do this job to do this job to do that job, or we just basically follow what is being presented to us.
Yeah.
Whereas other people, when being brought up at that young age, and they're able to know right from wrong, determine boundaries for themselves. Like, even a kid that is being brought from that opportunity, from that surrounding, will let you know that, listen, like, I don't like this, take it away from me. And then when they grow up, it's like they become like a boss, like determined, they know what they're
Yeah,
doing. I'm not to saying that people that are shy or reserved can't do that, but it's more faster for people that have been brought up in that surrounding to be able to grow faster, whilst people
yeah,
that are reserved is like, I want to be determined, I want to be outspoken, but when they have the opportunity to do it, they kind of like go back into the shell. And then it's like they're always waiting for the right opportunity to come for them to like, for them to be determined or like outspoken, even for them to even set boundaries, because they already know they don't like people, like, for instance, maybe you're talking way too loud, or maybe you did something wrong at work and I just want to give you feedback, and it's like, oh,
yeah,
if I give you a feedback, are you going to take it right? So let me just keep my opinion to myself. So this is
yeah,
where like teamwork, collaboration comes in, and it all plays an effect on people's mental health, the way they progress at work as well, even personal journeys as well. So when it now comes to us being a Gen Z, do you think generally like we are outspoken? And do we actually know what we want in a workplace or outside of a workplace? And are we able to say this is our boundaries, or are we following trends?
I would say we are more outspoken,
Mm-hmm.
at least compared to the previous generation.
No,
So
is it no going?
we could argue that we are not there yet,
Mm-hmm.
but we are much more better than those that the previous generation, those of the previous generation, and it's important we keep at that. So the next, even if you have like younger niece or nephews, watch the way they speak. They are more bold. They, in fact, you'll be surprised why is the kid asking, why is this kid speaking like this? Yes, but that's how it should be. That's how it should be. And I think we should just progress in that line.
Mm-hmm.
Keep on being more outspoken.
Yeah.
And it brings me back to why I mentioned that sales I wanted to be, because
Yeah.
that is something I admire. The Because a salesperson has the characteristics we talked about, being outspoken, confidence, and all
Mm-hmm.
that. So, what was it? Can you just rephrase the last question? You mentioned something I did not pick up again.
Yeah, so as Gen Z, do you think we are outspoken when it comes to us having the boundaries at workplace, speaking to our employers, or even outside of the workplaces as well?
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
We are. We are much more better. We are.
Mm.
In the workplace, especially, I believe they are, or those of our generation, those I think we're almost we're
Leaning
still,
in. Leaning in.
but those of our generation we are outspoken, and you see young people being uh in position of leadership,
Mm.
being in position of managerial roles and uh operational roles, and they are doing things, they know what they want. They are able to set boundaries.
Yeah.
They're able to push out deadlines and ensure that the team stick to it. Even as let's say floor workers, also they are able
Yeah.
to know what they want. They're able to know, okay, if we're working overtime, what's the compensation? If I'm putting this effort, what's the result I'm getting? How does it reflect on my career and all that? So I would say we are more outspoken and it helps. What?
If you had a quote to give to us, the Gen Zs or the millennials or the people that came after our forefathers, what would the quote say?
I would say know what you want and go after it.
Mm,
Nothing stops you from getting it. There's nothing other than yourself. Just go after it and you will get it.
definitely.
I talk about the things you and your friends don't want to talk about. What is tech? Let's talk. Your classmates will judge you. I know and I hear you. Your boss will fire you. Give me the full gist. Your work, your school, your career. Isha podcast, not for the weak. Let's get it.